We are on filmsgonewild.com. My name is John Wildman, and we're going to talk about the film Succulent. We have the director, Amrita Bagchi, here. The film is making its North American premiere at the Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles. Amrita, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to death to have you here because you are beaming in from India, so that's always exciting that we can connect with someone all that way. Let's start this off. Have you introduce our audience to the film? They have not seen it as yet, so tell us about Succulent.
Succulent's a short film about a plant-obsessed young woman who is sent out by an agency that kind of offers services where they replace missing family members. So if someone's deceased or someone stays far away, or you're simply not on talking terms with your brother or something, they'll send somebody who has studied this person. They have PDFs, they have photos, they know whether they eat veg food or non-veg food and all of that, and they impersonate this person. But like a lot of Succulent is about whether human emotions can be commodified. Is there a shortcut to empathy? And also what this does to the person who's being asked to replace people. What does it do to their personal attachments, to their involvement? What if they really love one of these people? What does it do to them? How damaging or non-damaging is this? Is it really a solution? That's what it's about.
I have to tell you, this film is impressive on so many levels. I have to congratulate you because, and we're going to get into some stuff that I really loved about the film. But, doing science fiction and not having all kinds of effects and CGI and all kinds of things like this, and yet realistically place us in a world that we go, this is not our world. This is, this is familiar enough, but it's also different. And it's in the service of the themes and issues that we can connect with, which is what either sci-fi or genre or horror does really, really well, that we can go, okay, you're putting us in a different world, but you're really talking about something we're very familiar with. And in this case, it's about isolation, and it's about how we are isolated and how we try to reconcile ourselves with that. So my point is, it's really an ambitious project in a very short amount of time, and I would love for you to talk about, as the creator of it, not getting lost in all of that. Giving us a story that we can follow easily and kind of keeping your eye on the prize with all of that stuff that you're trying to pull in. So tell us about being a disciplined filmmaker, how you pull that off.
I think I had to learn it because the first cut of Succulent was 50 minutes long. It was almost a feature. And I realized that, considering how short cinema is perceived across the world, nobody's going to watch a 50-minute long feature. I was becoming very indulgent. So I had to really edit out kill my darlings, basically. And I think that is the most and the only painful process, to learn how to practice restraint. And the second thing that I think was always a guiding force was this country. Futurism in India cannot exist without the past. We're just very obsessed with the past. Even when we're talking about, would be like dating apps, or if we're talking about apps that hire domestic help, we are always wondering if they're the same caste. Are they fairer? Are they darker? Where do they come from? Do they eat non-veg? There's just too many parameters that have the potential to divide us, but does not. And all these parameters are inherited parameters, generational parameters that just come down from like centuries old. So any kind of futurism or any kind of dystopia, so to speak, will always be existing in tandem with these. So it's never really going to be, a switch button, swipe screen future. It's always going to be a little bit of, caste politics and a little bit of tradition, and then like a spaceship landing in the middle of that. That's what it's going to be like. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you are a filmmaker, you're a director, you're right, but you're also an actor. And in fact, in this festival, there's another film shoebox that you're also acting in, which makes it a big festival for you this year,
Yeah.
because you are all over the place. But let's talk about being on the set and directing, and how the fact that you are also an actor, how that helped you, and how it helps you communicate with your actors, and talk in that shorthand to get the performances you need out of them.
So, all the cast members, they're all friends that I had done theater with. So I already shared a certain equation with them, a certain dynamic with them. So when I was kind of directing them, it's familiar vocabulary, right? And also as an actor, I understand how vulnerable actors can be. And these are my friends. So I also know there are other vulnerabilities. So in a way, I think I kind of knew the shot and I kind of knew the language, and it kind of helped me because I don't want to operate in spaces that I'm not comfortable with or they're not comfortable with. Having said that, I also was working with actors that completely trusted me, that just did not know what the outcome was and still went for it. So I got really lucky. There was also a lot of courage and inspiration that I derived from the set of Shoebox, from seeing how, because most of the actors are either non-actors or theater actors, they're no big names, and everybody's kind of coming together to work a scene, to collaborate. So that was also a big learning in and watching that crew, watching Faraz, the director, work, because Faraz came and edited Succulent, and then we have the same EP and the same line producer. So in many ways, it's the same crew. So a lot of the learning also came from there. And then also as an actor, there are so many things that I find that I wish directors told me, that I wish they, gave me in advance. And I tried to do that while I was working with them. So obviously, there's an advantage to that.
It is hilarious, because I'm a filmmaker and an actor as well, and it is
Oh,
funny
nice.
how experiences that we have acting on a set,
Yeah.
how good or bad, we immediately turn those around when we're behind the camera to go,
Yeah.
it really sucked when that guy tried to tell me this thing, but he didn't, and then
Yeah.
the ones that can get a good performance out, we go, oh, I've got to remember that because that totally worked.
Yes. Yes. All the shortcuts, it's like code. It's
Yeah,
really like okay, that button worked, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and you kind of make that little diary of buttons.
Okay, the last question I have
Yeah.
for you is
Yeah.
is about locations, because again, when you're doing a sci-fi film, and and you have no budget whatsoever, you've got to be very creative to go, well, this building looks out of time, out of place, or this thing doesn't look like 2022. It looks like it could be 2040 or whatever. So talk about your locations, talk about what, how you found them, if you had like those moments where you go, yes, oh my god, I've stumbled on something amazing here.
So the primary location is actually a wedding venue, and like grand weddings happen there. I wasn't aware of it. It's in Delhi. It's not in Bombay. And Faraz, the director of Shoebox, and he was also like I said, He was editing Succulent. He suggested that venue to me. He said, just instead of looking at just random structures, why don't you look at this thing? And I also realized that I had winter to my advantage. We shot this in November, and Delhi gets really cold and foggy, and there's also a lot of smog. So I kind of spoke with my DOP and said, let's just use the fog a little bit to our advantage, because we already have this crazy structure. The rest of the buildings were normal. This is the reception area slash bar, which we turned into an office. And if you place it against the fog and let people not see the background, it'll already look a little like off, because it's such a strange structure, right? Like it's again like classic India, like somebody wants to make a futuristic structure and then they'll dress it up with marigolds and have a wedding there. So it's like it's really classic India. So I said, let's just turn it into a rib cage for the film, and it has really contributed a lot to the world building, you know.
I mean, it really does. And again, for here in the States, it looks like a big football. like they're inside a big football, right?
Yeah, I can imagine.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, soccer, right? Yeah, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. For you, yeah, for any of you
yeah,
soccer.
yeah.
But it really does, and you know, and that's the thing that you know, sometimes locations can do so much work for you, you
Yes,
know,
yes.
and doing it. Well, listen, you know, again, the film is Succulent, which it's making its North American premiere at the Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles. We've been talking with Amrita Bagchi, who also is acting in the film Shoebox. Again, this is going to be a banner festival for her. Uh, it's been wonderful talking to you about your film.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Lovely talking to you.